Hello and welcome to DMBFX training tutorial. Today we're going to look at the Gbpusd template, which is basically put in place to identify both trade opportunities and to minimize the risk while you're trading. We're going to first of all look at different aspects of the template that can basically help you make better decisions about your trading and also to maximize your profit. So today we're going to obviously look at the Gbpusd. We're going to first of all look at the pair's relationship to the long-term moving average to basically determine where the price is headed. We're going to also look at which zone the price is currently in the DMBFX zones. We're going to also look at which pair is currently in control. And finally, we're also going to look at the probability indicator to see whether or not the buyers or sellers are in control at the moment. So if we start off by looking at the first point, which is obviously the pair's relationship to the long-term moving average, you can clearly see that the pair and the price is currently way below the long-term moving average, which is obviously the blue line here. And what this basically means is that typically whenever the price is way below or above the long-term moving average, typically what it does is goes back to it. It gravitates towards it again, okay? And obviously here what you can see is that the price is way below the long-term moving average, okay? And if we move, for an example, to the 4-hour chart, you'll also see that the price is way below it, and normally it gravitates back to it again. And obviously you can see here as well, it was way above it and then it went down again. So if we move on and look at where the price is currently in the zones, you obviously remember that we had the buy zones down here and then we had the sell zones up here. And obviously you can clearly see that the Gbpusd is currently in the buy zones, one of the buy zones. So you had the buy zone 1, you had the buy zone 2, and then you had the buy zone 3. So the Gbpusd is currently in buy zone 3. And if we move on to look closer to who is in control at the moment, is it the pound or is it the dollar? You can clearly see here that the dollar is in control at the moment because it's way up, and there's been a bit of a convergence. It's pretty even leveled here, as you can see. And normally what it means is that whenever there's a divergence, i.e. it goes up and the pound moves down, there is usually a divergence, and if the pairs move closer to each other, then that would be called a convergence, okay? And if we look at the individual currencies, you'll see that the blue line here obviously is the pound, and you'll see that it is way below the long-term moving average here, okay? The black line is the long-term moving average, and the price is actually way below at the moment, okay? And likewise, if you look at the US dollar, you'll see that the dollar is also way below the long-term moving average. And typically what we said is that if the price is way below or above the black line, the moving average, it typically normally gravitates towards it again, okay? And finally, if we look at the probability indicator for the Gbpusd, you'll obviously see that it is currently in the neutral zone going upwards, okay? And the green, the buyers are in control currently, okay? And it's moving upwards. So what all this means is obviously that it will give you a more three-dimensional view of the Gbpusd, and you obviously see that it might give you an opportunity for a buy, for an example, because the price is way below the long-term moving average, and the price is currently in one of the buy zones. And here you'll obviously see that the dollar is in control at the moment, and here you'll see that both the dollar and the pound is way below the long-term moving average. Okay, that's pretty much it. If you have any more questions regarding the GBP/USD template or anything else, please do not hesitate to check us out on www.dmbfx.com. Thank you very much for watching.